Yo,
Hey,
what
what's
up?
happening?
I'm bringing my coat back.
The fur.
The floofs. The floofs. What's up with you, man?
Nothing, just, chilling with the kids until I go get ready for my fourth session of the day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. How
Damn.
about you?
4, that's a lot. I just got back. I was teaching down in Phoenix.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I just got back.
Well, the reason why it's four, because, now I gotta warm up so I can warm up.
Yeah.
These joints are getting more cranky every fucking day.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse. You're going to end up doing more warm-ups than you do actual training.
I know, right? It's like, all right, I got like a good 10 minutes of hard training. Now I got to cool down for the cool down.
Yeah, you got the warm-up and the cool-down. You train about 10% of the time.
Yeah.
How's that going, though?
It's going good, man. Yeah, I'm finding my rhythm, basically just taking the basics and running the same play over and over and over and over, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Just repetition, man, until basically I feel like I can do it in my sleep now.
Yeah.
I actually do it in my sleep sometimes. Like, you ever do something so much that you're laying there and your arm will just start to jolt, you know what I mean?
When we first started, that happened a lot, man. Actually, we'd be laying in bed and I bonked. One time I straight elbowed her in the spine like Tong Po.
Oh shit.
She's like, "You weren't sleeping." I swear. You're like, sleep in a sleeping bag so my arms are trapped down.
Yeah.
But no, it's been. I think one time I punched the wall super hard in the middle of the night too.
Yeah.
And then
just
that shit
that
freaked
repetition.
Me out. Yeah. But that was 15 years ago or something.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Eddie's fighting. That's Friday, right? Next Friday. Or Saturday?
Yeah.
Friday.
I think it's Saturday, 28th.
Right.
I don't know my days right now.
Yeah, the 28th in San Diego. It's gonna be good. Who are you fighting?
David. I might butcher the last name. Penadad, something like that.
He's
real good dude though.
He's from England, Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
you seen much of his fights?
Yes, I've watched quite a few of his fights. He's real technical, solid, good basics. Tough dude. You know what I mean? I don't expect to go in there and knock him out. That's probably the last thing from watching how tough he is.
Yeah.
So, but I'm ready to go 2 fights. Really, 10 rounds.
That's good. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man.
They're doing a pay-per-view as well.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know the stream.
Yeah.
I probably should have had all this stuff in front of me. But...
Come on, man. You're here to promote your
I just know it's going to be in San Diego at the Hilton on May 28th. And, I'm going to head down there Thursday, me and D'Angelo, because D'Angelo, he's fighting for an amateur title too. So,
oh, yeah? On the same card?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, Bernadette said it's on your bio. So all the information, just go on my bio. And, yeah. Thanks. My secretary got
it. Yeah. That's why you got to have a partner, a strong partner that knows the information.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, they've done a stream, I think, every time. So I would think they would do it again.
Yeah.
Hopefully they got all the bugs worked out. I think the last 2 times, I believe people were saying that it ran pretty smooth compared to the previous ones.
Yeah. getting better at it.
Yeah. Why? I don't know why it's so difficult.
Yeah.
I think it'd be better if somebody just held their phone and did like a live, because
Yeah.
for whatever reason they just can't transmit over space.
Yeah. Thought we're in 2022. It's supposed to be the future.
Hey, man. The future sucks.
It's nothing like I pictured it.
Mm-hmm. You been getting work with Johnson on?
Yeah, man. I'm seeing him every week and working with him and the guys down there. And yeah, man, it's been surreal, you know what I mean? Like, you've worked with him, you know.
Yeah.
It's just the first like couple months working with him, I had to get over, like, bless you, like being in front of him. A lot of times I'd be gassed out on pads just because of the fact that I'm like, fuck, this is Johnson on in front of me. You know what I mean?
I know, right?
I gotta kick as hard as I can, and a lot of times as hard as I can is with bad techniques, so I'm not even doing shit to the pads, you know, just getting hella tired. But
I don't think that ever goes away.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I trained with him for like damn near, I don't know, 10 years off and on. Yeah. That never went out of my head. Like, he is, you know.
Yeah.
It's just such a trip. But like, yeah, it definitely messes with it. It messes with your cardio for sure, because you everything you want, trying to make everything right. You know, like you want everything to be good. You know, like, when do you ever do that? Never. You're just trying to hit shit hard.
And I remember the worst experience I've ever had was, or the funniest, not worse, was in Thailand with Monle. And he's like, okay, kick. And I'm like, he's like, harder. I'm like, he's like, come on, man. I'm like, fuck. what this shit?
Quit.
Yeah.
This ain't for me. That can get you.
That experience has been hella good, you know, because a lot of the time, man, I've been on my, like, damn near my whole career is, you know, trying to figure, well, other than when we were training together, it would be trying to figure things out on my own, seeing what will work, this, you know, but then to actually have, like, Johnson on, you know, someone who's tested and just a living legend in the game, like, no, this is the right way. Like, you don't have to wonder. This is it. This is it. This is it. You know, it's like, all right, hell yeah. All right, cool. I don't have to wonder. I know this is what to do. I know this is what works, you know. Yeah. So, like, it's been cool in that sense.
Yeah, I'd say he's one of the best coaches. I mean, not just for being who he is, but for his ability to translate that to other people and to see all the nuances and different styles. I mean, from MMA to kickboxing to Muay Thai, you know, he's such a good fight IQ, and he really knows, you know, just like those main things you kind of need to think about and focus on, not, you know, there's nothing that's wasted. It's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and just kind of hones that in. And I mean, I wish I trained with him every single day, or could have, because shit, but
and all the while, like, he doesn't try to change you. Like, he tells you to do your thing, you know, still have fun and fight like how you fight, but like, make sure, like, just add this or add that, not trying to change it, you know. So it's dope in that sense.
Yeah, I would say that's what really makes great coaches, is the ones that don't try to change you and really embrace your unique style, like whatever it is you like to do. Just tighten some stuff up and know kind of what would work better for your style, like adding these elements in, and like to be able to see that, you know, for everybody too. It's not just like a one-off thing. Like watching him train other people, and it's unreal. It's unreal to watch. Like, I sit there and feel like he's just like pouring out gold all the time. You know, like I just want to have a camera on me.
Yeah.
You want to write everything down that he says. I'm like, what did he say?
Yeah. And it's endless.
Yeah.
Endless too.
And everything, every word that comes out, I'm like, I should write that down. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the best.
So it not just as not training with him just hasn't made me like better as a fighter, but you know, since I'm coaching and teaching now as well, it's like, all right, I have a reference as well. You know what I mean? Of what to do and like what works. And I'm not like I used to worry about being a little bit hard on some of the guys at the gym, and then when I went over there to train, seeing how he yells at everyone, I'm like, oh, I'm not that bad. Like, it's cool. You know what I mean? Like, this is normal.
One of my very first fights with no gear on, I fought one of his guys. Or not first. That was probably my 10th fight. And, you know, I beat him pretty bad and stopped him and everything. People said that after the fight, Johnson was like smacking him. He's like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? Yeah, I think there's levels of that are needed, you know, that tough love.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to fight. You know, it's one thing for just regular people that are training, but, you know, if you want to get in there, and particularly if you're not pushing yourself the way you need to, you better have somebody that's willing to, like, give you a smack in the face once in a while.
Yeah.
Tell you what time it is. Like, you think you want to do this? You don't act like it. You don't train like it.
No, for real, man. And, yeah, it's just that whole experience with the whole experience being able to work with John Sinong and, like, everyone over there is just second to none, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I look forward to. I still haven't been to his gym because I left. I mean, how long has he been there? Like 2 years?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I'm so glad he got his own spot, and, like, you know, it's great that you can incorporate MMA and be in that world, but, you know, just to be able to be in your element, you know, it's great. You know, it's you can kind of see that weight lifted off of him. He's like, this is for the thing that I love. Yeah. You know, as opposed to, like, trying to put that into another art.
Yeah. Like Muay Thai for MMA and shit like that. Nah, man, definitely. Like, you can feel it when you walk up in there too. Like, because most gyms, like, shoot, even my gym, it's not like a pure Muay Thai gym. You know, it is like different arts, so different cultures mesh, and, you know, which is good as well. Yeah. But ain't nothing like just, whether it's Muay Thai or whether it's just a pure jiu-jitsu gym or just when it's a school that's just pure one, you know what I mean? Like, you can feel that. And it's
there's nothing like it. I mean, obviously I had that with Toddy's, and then nowhere since then was there any just singular Muay Thai place, especially just Muay Thai, you know? And then this gym I teach at out here, Universal Muay Thai, that's all they do. It's like, you think that wouldn't be such a rare thing, you know, but it's like every single Muay Thai gym kind of transferred into everything. You know, we do MMA, we do boxing, we do kickboxing. You know, it's obviously good for business, but you lose that purity. And so when you get to be around it again, you know, it's like going to Thailand. It's just like, oh man. Yeah, this is home. This is everywhere should be like this. But you know, obviously,
it feels just like Thailand training there too, because it's just the same. I mean, like, with, you know, the different types of details here and there, but generally, it's not like the fire lesson of the day or the fire combo. It's the same shit. Over and over and over. You know what drills to do? Okay, go do those drills. You know what's after that? You know what's after that? Over and over and over again. It's like, it's hard in a different way. Yeah. It makes you like, man, I'm over this shit. I'm over it.
We're like, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. You got to learn to love it.
Yeah. It's not until you get to that point where you're like, I'm over it, that you really have it. Now. Yeah, you know what I mean.
That's where the magic happens. When you're done, you're like, no. Yeah, there's something. I mean, for myself, that was so beneficial to just what works for me and my style, being able to have that solid foundation of fundamentals, and then just repetition, just, it's like, kicking the sandbag. It's just that repetition, and you gain confidence in that, and be like, I can take this thing and now I can apply it to whatever I need to.
Yeah.
Like that's where my style is going to come out, and the way that I do things. But being focusing on those singular elements, man, is just, I don't know. There's something about that just feels right to me. So I love that stuff. And it's like, it's so simple, and sometimes I guess can be boring for some people.
Yeah.
Like I want to learn the cool shit. But this is the cool shit. If you do this shit, you can do the cool shit.
Yeah.
If you don't do this shit, you can't do the cool shit.
It's like, how does that make sense?
It does. Shut up.
Yeah.
Do the work.
Yeah, I remember when, like, the more I'm on this journey, the more I'm start to understand a lot of things that you used to say. Like, when the first time I heard you say basics wins fights, it's like, yeah, I get it. Basics wins fights. Okay. But then, like, the more I'm on this journey, it's like, okay, I'm starting to understand it more. Like, okay, we all just have basic strikes.
Yeah.
Punch with the left hand, punch with the right hand, kick, knee, elbow. These are all basic things. If we learn how to do these things on balance and with proper technique, the fancy will come with how we put the basics together, because not everyone's going to put the basics together the same. We all think differently and whatnot. We all have what rolls off the tongue for us. And it's like, the longer I do this, and also becoming a teacher, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm starting to understand more and more and more what you mean when you say basics wins fights,
Yeah, like, you think you understand what that means. You're like, yeah, obviously, basic wins fight, but to, like, hear it and know it, and to, like, feel it and see it, is the difference, and, like, we don't realize that all those complex things are grounded in basics anyway. So you're really working on those things by working on those singular elements.
Yeah. And just being on balance and all that shit, like, that shit's is dope, man. And then, like, by being on balance, like, when necessary, the cool shit will just happen. The cool circumstances and scenarios will just happen.
Yeah, it's like you're setting yourself up for those things to happen organically. You don't got to think about them, and that's why you'll do a lot of things that you don't necessarily even train for. Like, you train to be ready for it, so it happens the way that it should. But it's not like you train those moves necessarily.
Yeah.
Like, oh, when he grabs my leg, I'm gonna duck down and I'll go spin an elbow. Like, you might have thought about it, and you think about it happening. Like, if somebody does maybe grab your leg, like, oh, I could have done this. You don't really necessarily train it, though. You're just setting yourself up for the ability to perform that when it's necessary.
Yeah.
I think that's it's easy to get, as it's easy to get caught up in the movements and the numbers and the stuff that sounds good, the stuff that looks good. But then, you get too far over there. It's like everything. Like, you get too far over on one side, and it's gonna hurt you. And then you get too far over here, and it's like you're constantly kind of going in between all those different worlds, sort of. But it's like you always gotta be reminded, like, keep that shit grounded in fundamentals, and don't get carried away, because that's where you get clipped.
And it's funny because, like, something as simple as a jab or a teep, like, it's probably as basic as it gets, but realistically, it's not as easy to land a jab at will or land a teep at will, as people think. So, like, just trying to land the basics is hard enough, before trying to land, like, something with pizzazz or something,
Yeah, right. Yeah, and, like, how many different aspects there are to that singular jab, like the distance that is in there, the angle that it hits at, the speed, the power, the placement. Like like we literally would spend the whole day just throwing a jab in all the different ways there are to do it. The hundreds of ways to do it. The different footwork, the different weight distribution.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you could spend your whole life doing that one thing, and you're trying to do all this shit.
Yeah.
When it's all grounded in that anyway. So you really are educating yourself on how to do those complex things by focusing on the simplicity of it all, and just making that shit as tight and sharp as possible with all the aspects of it, you know, because you can take it a million different ways.
Yeah. Because I remember when I first started working with you guys, it was like the teep was the most frustrating thing to deal with, because I didn't know how to fucking stop a simple teep. You know what I mean? So it was just like, all right, you know, let me work on this simple basic thing. And as far as like teep defense and whatnot, you know, and like it just made me that much more confident, because it's like not being able to understand something so basic can be so frustrating.
Yeah. Greg, you better figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what I think we really figure out as we progress and get more experiences. You realize how much time you wasted on other things that weren't really beneficial to you. Like if you would have focused on all these things that you do now from the beginning, like think about how much energy and time you put into some of those unnecessary things. That might seem right on the surface, you know, but they're really not, because I would say that everything boils down to that fundamental stuff, you know, and that's whether you're talking about fighting or a sport or life in general.
Yeah.
It's really just that foundation needs to be so solid, because all that other stuff will get knocked around easy if that base ain't good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a good life lesson there about not getting distracted on bullshit, you know. And, you know, getting back to what works and getting back to the basics and building on top of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is fun when things work. That's when we start having fun. Okay, it's working now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so frustrating doing something that doesn't work, no matter how flashy it may look. Yeah, we may land it here and there, and with landing it, that doesn't always mean that, oh, that's gonna knock anyone out. You know what I mean? I don't know how many people Sanchez knocked out with a cartwheel kick. I mean, I know there's one. I know one for sure. In a sparring match.
One, and that was in sparring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? It's like,
I don't know if I've ever seen him knock anybody. I know I saw him daze this one guy a little bit, you know, but it's like, what's he really doing that for? He's not doing it to hurt you, really. Like, he's doing it to break your spirit. And it's like, I can do a cartwheel in the middle of a fight, and you can't do shit. Do something. You know, it's really draining on you psychologically when people do stuff like that. And you're like, man, like this dude's playing around, and I'm like trying to kill somebody.
Yeah.
And he's over there smiling and having fun.
But someone like him, he has the basics to back it up. If someone just has a bag of tricks, then it's like, all right, whatever. You know, I'll eat your tricks. I'll adjust to your tricks. So now you showed me your tricks. I'm not going to fall for them again. You know what I mean? Once someone figures out your tricks and you have no basics, it's like, all right, what the fuck do I do now? All right, I guess I'll try this trick again. You know, you just get fucked up.
Then your tricks start getting a little lazy and not so great.
Yeah.
You get clipped. You know, it's like when you know someone's only got one thing to rely on, even if it's a really good thing, it's easier to shut that down. I mean, obviously, if they're experts at it and you're not very good at it, you're screwed. But, you know, when it comes down to a lot of those things, I think that's why a lot of people in the beginning will win just off of natural ability, speed, power, how dynamic they are. But if they're not building themselves from the ground up as they progress, eventually they're going to top off. Like, you can only go so far on one aspect of your game, you know, and that's why the one that's out there grinding and working hard, like, they're going to get there eventually, you know. It's the old rabbit and the fucking turtle analogy.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
just keep grinding away, keep doing what you should do. You're gonna get there. You're gonna figure it out as you progress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like it's dope, man, because even Johnson on like when we chopped it up a couple times, he's like, man, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
You know, like someone who's at his caliber, you know, who's been in the game, and he's like, I'm still learning, I'm still a student, and this and that, you know. Like, as much as he's accomplished, he's not like, yeah, I know everything.
I got it.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't got nothing. Like, I could stop today, no more than you ever, but I'm still willing to learn.
For real.
You know, that's such a important, I think, aspect to all of this. You know, like you don't ever stop just because one thing stops, just because your fighting stops, or just because you can't do this no more.
Yeah.
You just give up on progression.
Yeah. I mean, if you're passionate about it,
that's a wrap. Yeah. If you're passionate about it, sure. Like, you know, I think that's the difference between like a fighter and a martial artist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a martial artist that's a lifelong pursuit of. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be about fight techniques. But it's about that mentality, about continually pushing yourself and progressing, and you know, not just kind of giving up and giving in to whatever the case is.
Yeah. It's hard. Like, as a martial artist, man, for me, it'd be hard to let this go, because everything that I do outside the gym is based off lessons that I've come across in the gym, as far as patience and being able to adjust. You know, fighting's all about adjustments. So is life. Everything's subject to change. You know, it only takes one exchange to change the momentum of a fight. You know, so same thing like out here. It only takes one exchange to change the momentum of your life, whatever it may be. You know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's helped me deal with my kids. It's helped me deal with my wife. It's helped me deal with just situations where my patience may be tested, or my composure may be tested, you know, and like to take my time and not force things, because if we force things in a fight, we walk into shit and sometimes self demolish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing out here. So it's like, fuck, I can't let go of that, because that shit helps me out here, you know?
Yeah. Like, I think one thing that becomes apparent, like, obviously Muay Thai is the thing that's driving that that want to push yourself and progress and all those things, but really, I mean, you can really do that with anything. Like, it doesn't have, I mean, obviously for us, Muay Thai is something that speaks to us, and you know, but it's really about finding something that you have to push yourself for. You know, and then once you see how that translates into your art, you understand how it translates to everything, because you're solely focused on this one thing and trying to be as good as you can possibly be, and see all the infinite nuances in that art. And through that, you understand how to apply that to everything that you do, your relationships, your other jobs, your marriage, whatever the case may be. It's like, if you know how to get good at one thing in life, you know how to get good at everything, or how to get better at everything. You know, and that's a rare thing in this world, to push yourself to that level at anything. You know, but if you can do it with one thing, like, you understand how to do that with everything.
No, and it's funny, because it's like, no matter what the craft is, there's like some universal things. So there's some things, truths or whatever, that are universal to everything, you know?
As far as universal truths.
As far as patience, you know what I mean? As far as like, okay, whether it's a painter, whether it's someone who cooks, what, you know, maybe the painter does a wrong stroke, or maybe the cook adds something, you know, it's a little too salty. They know how to balance out to where it's not as salty, or the artist knows how to, like, okay, turn that, like Bob Ross, you know what I mean? Into a little happiness.
It's a happy little accident.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it's not that we don't make mistakes, it's just that we get comfortable with making mistakes, and then like this is just one of the truths. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Stuff
So it's
like
like
that.
mistakes are going to happen. You can take that mistake and learn how to never make it again, or you can take that mistake and use it for something positive.
Yeah,
Like there, and that's like you were saying. It's like when you watch a really great fighter, a really great actor, a really great anything, you never see the mistakes because
yeah,
to them that they didn't happen. There's like this action happened, and
yeah,
I'm going to use that for something else.
yeah,
It's not this happened that just destroyed everything.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I think learning how to take whatever happens to you, whether
hmm
it's trouble in life or sicknesses or death or
yeah,
injuries, big thing that kind of clicked to me one day was like, you always have a choice to make.
yeah,
You didn't, you might not have had a choice about what happened to you, but what are you going to do about it?
yeah,
You're either going to use it and get better, or you're going to let it make you worse. That's
yeah,
really the only question there is after the fact. Whether that thing that happened was your fault, somebody else's fault, nobody's fault. It happened. Like you can't change it.
hmm
Like, all
yeah,
right, my hand's fucking broke. Well, all right, what now? So now, what do you want to do?
yeah,
That's it. That's it. Now what? What is the question? The question is now what? I don't know. Do I want to sit here and bitch about it for the rest of my life? I
yeah,
could. Sometimes, yeah, I want to. Or I'm like, well, fuck that. Like, shit happens to everybody. Deal with
yeah,
it. What are you
yeah,
going to do about it? Make yourself better through this. That's it.
yeah. It's like, what do I have? Okay, my hand's broke. I can still use my elbow. All right, I'm gonna fuck him up with my elbow. You know what I mean? Fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you always have something to use. And again, I think that's what's good about Muay Thai. And you talk about the art of 8 limbs. It's like, even if I break my hand, I got another hand. I got 2 elbows. I got 2 knees. And I got 2 feet.
Yeah,
I got two
yeah,
shins. So, yeah, that's one thing. But I got a lot more.
yeah,
And if
yeah,
if that's the thing I'm solely reliant on, I probably wasn't doing anything right.
yeah, for real.
Like, all I trained was this one hand, and now I don't have this hand. Shit.
Yeah. Well, shoot, funny enough, one thing I've started to learn through this journey as well is that, like, say someone has a good left hook, right? Or it could be anything, left kick, right kick, whatever, knees, whatnot. A lot of the time, the greats who are known for like their left hook, it's not necessarily the left hook that makes them great. It's the
Yeah.
fact that they're ready to throw everything after the left hook, or they're ready to throw the left hook after everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
everything else around it. They make you forget. We go into this fight. I know you've been knocking people out with that left hook, but you always find a home for it. Why? Because you make me forget about it by with all your other weapons that you're good with. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah. Well, and then
someone
people
who's
get
great at one
people get
thing, a
solely.
lot of times behind the scenes, it's everything.
Oh, for sure, because people get solely focused on that one thing. They're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna shut that shit down." No, you ain't.
Yeah.
No, you ain't.
Yep.
Don't you think everybody else knew that too? Well, why can they?
Yeah.
Why are they able to land that every time? It's not because that one thing's
Yeah.
so good. It's that they know how to use everything else to make that one thing land. And those are the things
Yeah.
you're not thinking about while you're getting your ass kicked. Be like, where's that left
Yeah.
kick at?
That shit has actually happened to me in a fight before. Like, I've trained
Yeah.
so much on not getting leg kicked that the whole time I was check ready, but the kick never came, and I was getting touched up with everything else. I was like, man,
Yeah, yeah.
fuck. Like, that's the last time I ever do that shit. Like, I'll be aware of it, but I'm not just gonna be waiting for it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that happened to me in my comeback fight after I blew my knee out with Chris Kwiatkowski, and like I knew he had good overhand right, good strong right hand, like he knocks everybody out with that. But I was so aware of it that I saw it so far ahead of time that I didn't react
Yeah.
in the right speed.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I didn't react to it. I knew it was coming. So instead of him like bang, bang, and then you fire off of that, I'm like over here hanging out. Goes by me, I'm like, hey, what's up? So I think it's like, there's that like we talk about with that balance. You can be
Yeah.
so focused on one thing. A, it might never happen, and
Yeah.
B, it's not going to happen the way you thought it was going to happen when you were training for it. So
Yeah.
you want to be able to know that it's there, be aware of it.
Hmm.
But I think when you get so focused on it, it's not going to work out the way you thought it would.
Yeah. Yeah. I just been trying to well, for my last couple fights, I've been trying to like have the state of mind of like, okay, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna give these guys a private lesson. You know what I mean? Not in a cocky way, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm gonna teach you something, but in a sense of like, okay, if you were to ask me, like, say my opponent was to ask me, as I'm developing my game, uh, well, what would happen if I did this? You know what I mean?
Right,
You know,
right.
we always have those students. Well, what would you do if I did this? Well, I would do this. Well, what if while you're doing that, I come around doing it? Well, I would, whatever. Like you have an answer for everything. So it's like, okay, I'm just gonna try to approach it that way. When basically it's just like my opponent is asking me, all right, what you gonna do if I do this? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna like respond accordingly.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing with having that solid foundation is you have answers for everything in the infinite universe of what you could possibly do to me. I have a response to that. I have an offensive response to that. I have a defensive response to that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a neutral response to that. Like sometimes my answer is like, I'm just going to take that shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back with something else.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I'm going to avoid that. Sometimes I'm going to defend that. Sometimes I'm going to counter that. Sometimes I'm going to take it. But I know I can hold myself in a position to where I can take it. I'm not going to take it multiple times. I'm going to take it once. I'm going to use it against you.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that is something that I think all of us really miss when we first start training is understanding how to absorb, minimize, deflect, as opposed to block it perfectly or or strike it perfectly. Like where's that middle ground? Because learning how to take shots can be just as vital as learning how to land shots. And that was something that was fortunately drilled into us. Unfortunately, I get too comfortable with taking shots and like, what are you gonna do? You end up taking a lot more than you probably should, because there needs to be that element of danger in there. Because like somebody's hitting you, like it doesn't matter how hard it is, somebody's hitting your body in your brain.
Yeah,
like, they're not giving you a massage. They're hitting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel if we educated more on that, it would be beneficial in the long run. Like you're gonna get hit, no matter how good you are. You're gonna get hit. Learn how to get hit the right way and how to minimize and still be able to think about what's going on and see what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that's one of the benefits. There's pros and cons to both hard sparring and flow sparring. I feel like that's one of the benefits to flow sparring is the fact that we can sit here and make mistakes without paying drastically. And then of course, we have to do it with someone repetitively, how me and you would train every day to the point to where we could damn near spar with no gear. And from the outside looking in, it looks very intense. But the whole time we're in control. We're not crashing. We're not, hurting each other or whatnot. But it does take a sense of like repetitiveness with a certain person or whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a relationship.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a tough thing. It's one of those things you can pick up very quickly when somebody else who understands it, even if they train somewhere else. It's like, this game, I know this game. There might be a getting to know you process, but it's pretty quick. In order to figure that out. So I think as long as you understand that at the fundamental level, you should be able to do that with everybody that understands it at the fundamental level. Regardless of their skill level or how often you train together. Like there's certain things that we all understand that language.
Yeah.
We know how to have this kind of conversation. You
Yeah.
know, like I'm not gonna hurt you, or I might do something that cracks something a little bit, but it's like you kind of understand how to pull off a little bit, or
Yeah.
even if something's going to hit you, you kind of minimize it. They're gonna pull off a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's a two-way. It's conversation. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what fighting is at every level. Really, is that it's a conversation.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a friendlier, understanding conversation when you're training. But when you're fighting, it's like, I'm in control of this conversation and I'm going to shut you the fuck up.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you want to say something? Wait, shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Oh, shit. How is the gym going, though? How's everything? How long you guys been open?
About a year and a half, I believe. Yeah, about a year and a half. Man, we're going pretty steady right now. You know what I mean? Like right now, we've been very active on all aspects, as far as the PKBers, as far as the amateurs, as far as the pros. We've been doing very well, and at the same time, like any gym, we have our L's and stuff like that, but we learn from them, we bounce back from them, and we just keep on trucking,
Yeah.
But we've created a dope atmosphere over there. You know what I mean? I think since we opened during the pandemic, like that's one of the blessings in disguise, in my opinion, because when we opened, everything had to be blocked off, all the windows, this and that. No one could post on social media, you know what I mean? Because we were supposed to be low key.
Right.
And what that did was, even when it got to the point to, okay, now we can start posting and showing out and stuff, it already embedded a culture of, okay, you're here to work. You're not here to like make an IG post or here, this and that. You know what I'm saying? It's like it just like naturally created that culture. Thank you to the pandemic. Everyone came in and they were only there to, like, if they were filming, it was just like, okay, because they did want to critique their own technique and get better or shit like that. So like that's one thing that we've been able to keep going, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, that's good, man. Because we're definitely headed in the wrong direction. With a lot of that, with a lot of that. And I do feel that the percentage of people who are really doing things for the right reasons are always the same. That percentage is kind of always the same. So whether somebody has a phone to use that for their own, egocentric ideas, or whether it's anything, like you can trade that phone out for another thing. It's just that's the thing. That's the tool that's utilized right now by that percentage of people. But if it wasn't this, it'd be something else. Like in the future, it's going to be something else. There's always going to be the percentage of people who are doing stuff for pure reasons. Then there's going to be the middle of the road people. And then there's going to be the people on the flip side.
Yeah.
And like you can take that analogy to really everything. The general population is the 60, 70, 80%. And then you're going to have the extreme on one side and the other extreme on the other side. And you apply that to every aspect of life, and you kind of understand human nature.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt, man. Now, I'm not bagging on people who, like use social media, because like I for one use social media as advertisement as well. But at the same time, it's like, if that's the only thing, kind of like how we were talking about fighting style, you know what I mean? If you only focus on the pizzazz and you ain't really like about the basics, eventually like people can see right through it. You know what I mean? Like if you only show up and spend like 30 minutes setting up your stuff, 10 minutes, doing work, there's a camera, like I got the right angle, all right, you know what I mean? All right, cool. Like a lot of the times I suck at it because I get lost when I'm training, and I'm not worried about am I in frame or am I, you know what I mean? Like I'm just in my zone, you know. Thank God I just got B by me, like, you know, record me and shit.
Yeah, yeah. So you can get both. You get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough to, because like on one hand, of course, in this day and age, and with everything, you do need to promote. Like if
Yeah.
you're going to fight, you want to help promote the fight.
Yeah.
Also, you want to show that and show things that get views and show things that people like. So on one hand, you want to do that and to help contribute to that. But the other hand, there's the other side of that where like it just becomes like, is that what is important right now? This bullshit? Like I should be promoting this fight when I should be training. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's tough there. There's always that balance. It's not to say this thing in itself is negative. Like I wouldn't say social media in itself is negative. It's like it's a tool. What are you gonna do with it? You can do something good with it. You can do something bad with it.
Yeah.
You can say that about everything in life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, cars, guns, power, food.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, it can be good. It can be really fucking bad too if it's in the wrong hands. So those things in themselves, just because they're used for stupid reasons at times, that doesn't make this inanimate object negative.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's a thing. It has no feelings.
Yeah.
It doesn't care what it is. I mean, you know, to an extent. Like, what are you gonna do with it? What are you gonna do with it?
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of the same mentality we were talking about earlier when it comes to like injuries and things that happen. It's like, this is a thing. This thing has no feelings. It's a thing that happened. This is a tool you can use. It has no feelings. This is a aspect of your life that has no feelings. What are you going to do with it? That's the only thing that matters. That's the only question. It's not about anybody else. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah. Man, and just based off of that, like where my mind has been in preparation for this fight is, man, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna like give me that thing you call Muay Thai. I'm gonna show you how to play with this, man. Let me show you how to do this.
I'll show you what I do with it. I got it.
Yeah. I got it.
Shit. Hey man, I think this thing cuts out after an hour. Do you want to keep going? You want me to turn it off and turn it back on?
Yeah, I'm down.
You good?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna shut it down and then I'll pop back on.
All right.
Is that a rope? No, it's not a rope. It's a jacket, fool. Hell yeah. And we're back.
Yeah.
I forgot what we were just talking about. It don't matter.
Yeah.
It wasn't important.
Yeah, for real. Next subject.
Yeah, so let's talk about this fight a little bit. When was your last fight?
I forgot the date, but my last fight was in Colorado for that the World Game Qualifiers.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Right. Which I lost. But I'm satisfied with my performance for that fight, you know. Before that, I fought Alex Bablea, and before that I fought Richard Abraham, and I won titles for both those fights. The Colorado fight was just kind of like, for me, it was just like, all right, well, that's it. You know what I mean? We were all geared up and everything, and it was just different. The scoring system was different, you know what I mean? But I had fun, man. And
what do you what'd you take away from that?
Well, in preparation for it, the mindset was like, okay, it's just gonna be an all-out kick war. You know what I mean? Kick game, kick for kick for kick for kick for kick, this and that, whatnot. So my kicks definitely got better, and you know, like how to utilize them and defend them and whatnot. But the fight didn't turn out that way. He clinched me, rabbit knees, you know what I mean, and like was stealing the rounds like that, which I wasn't used to. So it's like, all right, cool. I'll work on my clinch, you know what I mean. And so from there, it really made me better, you know, because instead of being like, oh no, I won that,
Right,
it's like, all right, cool. Well, what were my deficiencies, you know, whether I win or not, it's always back to the drawing board, you know what I mean?
Right.
So we worked on a lot of things. Like I feel like that camp made this camp better, working with Johnson on, you know what I mean? Because I started to understand what he meant by certain terms and this and that. So it's like, okay, cool. This camp, it was just more clear when he would say things, instead of being like, okay, I think this is what he wants. It's like, okay, this is what he wants. You know what I mean? So like just the whole process has been beneficial in my opinion, you know, just trying to find the silver lining in everything. And you know, it's just for this fight, I respect the guy, but at the same time, I'm not going there to lose. You know what I mean?
We didn't get dressed up for nothing.
Yeah. So I feel real confident. Like I always feel confident in every camp. I feel like it's the best camp ever. You know what I mean? It's the best camp I've had in my life. Not just because of the things that I'm doing, but because every single camp, I'm learning more efficient ways to train, as far as like getting the proper rest. Like it's not like back in the 80s and 90s where it was just like outgrind everyone, run your body into the ground. And you know what I mean, if you're barely holding on by a thread, you're not training hard enough. It's like, nah, man, you know, the older I get, I can't do all that. So I gotta train smart, train efficiently, get the proper rest so I can do it again the next day. And like, you know what I mean? And just like trying to put the pieces together. Every single camp, it's just me trying to like do it better than the last camp. I think that's why I feel like every camp is the best camp I've ever had. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's learning how to progress as you age, as your experience gains. You find where the value is. You know, it's not always just grind it out. It is that way in the beginning, and you need to be that way. You don't even know what the fuck you're doing. So you need to put that fucking work in. You need to put your head down. You need to grind that shit out till you want to die. And then as you go, especially once you start fighting, you start to realize, all right, like I don't need to put that much over there. I can use that and put it over here, and I can use this and put it over there. And I need a little bit more focus when this is going on, but over here I can put my head down and just grind that shit out, you know. And that's you know, that's an unending learning process, because the older you get and the more experience you get, that continues to change throughout. It's just where it becomes difficult is trying to figure out where to draw that line between training smart and being a little lazy bitch. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much easier when it's like, I'm just going to keep going until I die, basically. Like, there's no thought behind that. It's just, I'm going to go. But then as you age and progress and get more educated, you intentionally have to draw that line. You know, it's not, because you understand what comes with just going too hard all the time. You know, it's not beneficial to you. But wait, you have to intentionally draw that line. How are you supposed to fucking do that? You know what I mean? Like, it's like that's why it's when you see these fighters who can't stop, it's because everything that got them to where they got to was saying fuck you to the person in their head that said to stop. And now you want them to say stop, how are
Yeah.
they supposed to do that?
Yeah.
Like, you love them for never knowing when to quit.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
they're supposed to know how to quit. Like, how do
Yeah.
you do that? I don't
Yeah.
know. So it
It's
definitely is one of those things that as you age in the game and in life, you have to figure out where that is, how to keep pushing yourself, but not breaking yourself.
yeah.
And that's almost an impossible place to find.
Yeah.
It's very
And
like, because we're so programmed to live in safety and do stuff that isn't difficult, and to like everything intuitively is to avoid fighting,
yeah,
avoid
yeah.
things that are difficult, because we're built as survivors, and we're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
we're not built in this way to push ourselves.
Yeah.
And once we do, it doesn't feel right until you like
Mhm.
push through that, and then
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, this is right. Like every time I don't want to do something, I'm like, that means you should probably fucking do
Yeah.
it. Get off your
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
Go out there and do it. It's like that. That's almost like a trigger in my mind. I'm like, oh, we're almost there. We're
Yeah.
right about there. Keep going. I'm
Yep.
about to hit that sixth gear real quick.
Yeah, yeah. And
But
once you
it's
hit it, it's like you're floating.
oh my god, it's like the
Once you
greatest thing in
break
the
it.
world. But it's like every time there's that point when your body and your intuitive nature is like, don't do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to. It doesn't feel right. And you're like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
And the worst thing in the world is when you don't. When you don't
Uh-huh.
push through that, and you're just like, I'm just the biggest piece of shit on
Yeah. Oh,
Fortunately for myself,
fuck.
that only happened to me one time in my career. I was running sprints. This is probably like 10 years ago, or I don't know, 8 years ago. It was up at CSA, and I stopped. Like, I got off.
Yeah.
And then how that felt afterwards, I was like, never fucking again. I will literally die on this motherfucker. I
Yeah.
will die on this motherfucker than intentionally step off because it was too tough.
Yeah.
I think those moments are really important to have. Almost sometimes it's more important to break,
Yeah.
and then be like, I'm never gonna break like that ever,
Mhm.
ever again.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to avoid it so much. Like,
Mhm.
sometimes you need to understand what that feels like.
Yeah.
Understand what it feels like to give up, to quit, to back off a little bit. Like, now it's like when that happens again, you're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Instead of questioning it when it's happening, we're like, should I quit? Should I not? Should I ease back? Should I not? But then when you actually do it, you'll never get close to that line ever. Like, you'll never even ask yourself that question.
Yeah.
And I
It's
think that
the worst feeling.
the fucking worst on earth.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm very fortunate. It's only ever happened in like training situations, and not in something like in a fight where I have to look back on, like, I know I fucking like held back there. Like, fuck,
Yeah.
dude. Like, no matter what everybody else says, even if I won that fight,
Yeah.
like, I know I held back there.
Yeah.
Shit, that's the worst.
If we're honest with ourselves, that's the worst feeling, because I've never done that. I've experienced that feeling when I was training for one of my last MMA fight. Right, I was on the ground, and one of my team, one of my team, bro, one of my teammates was on top of me, and he was just smashing my diaphragm, like with pressure. I wasn't in no. He wasn't swinging on me. I wasn't in no hold, but I was, it was like a red flag for me, like a Shark Tank or whatnot. Right. And I basically damn near asked for him to like choke me out with my body language, like, just fucking take it. And afterwards, I went home, and bro, that was the worst feeling I have ever felt in my life. The pain of regret, if we're really honest with ourselves, the pain of regret, like, if you're one of those people that's comfortable with lying to yourself and coming up with excuses and this and that, then maybe you can live with it. But if we're honest with ourselves, just no matter what we say, it's like we can't lie to ourselves. Like, motherfucker, you fucking quit when you had more in you. You know
You
what
know
I
why?
mean? Yeah, you little bitch, you
You
little
know,
like you
bitch
just,
motherfucker.
just all that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, and bro, that's one of the worst feelings ever. You know, and it's funny because one of the things that you said, as far as we're built for comfort. You know, as human beings, we're built to want to be comfortable. The majority of us.
We're built for survival is what it is. Like we're built to survive no matter what, you know, and make things as
Yeah,
easy as possible and avoid danger and avoid discomfort. Like we're built
yeah,
instinctually for that,
yeah.
and that should have fucked
It's
you up.
like that's this question a lot as well. One of the main questions you get as a fighter is from other fighters. Okay, how do you deal with being nervous? How do you uh, get rid of being nervous before your fights or whatnot? And it's like uh, I don't try to get rid of it at all. Like, one, being
Yeah.
nervous means that I'm going to be aware. It means I'm awake. If I'm not nervous, then I'll be in their sleep. You know what I mean? Two, uh, most people in their life will never do anything, will never step outside their comfort zone enough to feel that degree of nervousness. You know what I mean? It's like,
and
because
and to,
everyone,
and to feel that and go forward.
yeah. And it's like, and just like you said, we're built for survival. Everyone wants to be comfortable. You know, if it's too hot, we turn on the AC. If it's too cold, we turn on the heater. You know what I mean? It's just like, no matter what, everyone just is just trying to be comfortable. Everyone's daily routine is built around trying to build a comfortable life. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Uh, and most people will, unfortunately, will never experience that. So be
Yeah.
grateful for that level of nervousness that we get. You know what I mean? Because most people will never feel that shit. It's just like we've just found something that we care about so much and is so passionate about, and we want to succeed at so bad that it makes us feel that. You know, most people will
Yeah.
never feel that shit. It's
Well,
crazy.
it makes you feel that and are willing to go forward anyway, because they're like people know
Yeah,
what that feels like. They don't
yeah,
know what that feels like, and to keep doing that thing that makes you feel that way.
yeah,
You know, like I'm scared as a motherfucker. I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, so fucking what? Like, what are you
yeah,
gonna do about it? Are you gonna stop or are you gonna go?
yeah,
You know, and I think for myself, like I've never felt nerves when it came to fighting. I think in that kind of context where that nerves make you feel like questioning what you're doing or
mm-hmm,
jittery or anything like that.
yeah,
I think because I started so late and what kept me from fighting for so long was that feeling of doubt, of hesitation, of
yeah,
I don't know if I can make it. I think once I clicked that over and once I did realize that you still have a choice to make, like do you want to do this or don't you? It doesn't matter if it doesn't feel right. It doesn't matter if
yeah,
you're nervous. It doesn't matter if you have one arm. It doesn't not shit
yeah,
don't matter. Like you want to
yeah,
fucking do this or don't you? And once
yeah,
I decided to make that choice, it took a lot of that fear and hesitation out of me. Like I feel like I have like no fear because of that. I mean,
yeah,
obviously it's there. Like if you unless you don't give a shit,
yeah,
then there is fear. Like you care. If you
yeah,
care, there's some level of concern there. But I don't
yeah,
feel it's fear when most people talk about fear, it's like paralyzing. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
my fear is just like, yeah, I fucking want to do good. You
yeah,
know. But as far as like getting hurt or losing or like that shit, I don't even think about that. You
yeah,
know. But I think it is one of those things where when things happen in your life, it becomes very clear. The choice becomes very simple. Not that it becomes any easier. You know,
mm-hmm,
there's no gray area anymore. It becomes
yeah,
you're gonna do it or you're not gonna do it. Not
yeah,
oh, I don't know. And I'm like that hesitation is the worst feeling in the world because
yeah,
it's like you want to do it and you're just not doing it. It's like jumping off a cliff. Like it's like that's what that fear is. It's that
yeah,
hesitation. You know, should I?
yeah,
Should I? Should I not? Should I do it? And then once for myself, once you simplify the choice,
Yeah.
like take all the details out of it, like the
Yeah.
hows, the whys, the whatnots. Are you gonna do it, or are you not gonna fucking do it?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna do it. All right, well, does it matter how you feel? No. Does it
Yeah.
matter how injured you are? No. Does it matter what limitations you have? Fuck no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it as good as I fucking can,
Yeah.
regardless of all those other elements are just gone. And you know, I think that really it simplified my mind when it comes to very like scary things, and you know, and like pressure and all that. It's like A or B. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not complex. Like we make it complex. Simplify that shit. Like you yes or no. That's it.
Yeah.
And if it's yes, okay. If it's no, that's okay too. Go that way.
Yeah.
You know, take that turn. But if you're gonna take that turn, own that shit and go that way.
Yeah. Don't say what you could have did. If you would have.
Could have been all state.
Yeah, I could have been president.
Yeah, I would say that's the worst. One of the worst things in life is being in that place where it's that regret and then that excuses we make, as if we didn't have a choice to make.
Yeah.
You know, it might not be the choice that we want or the choice that feels good, but it's a fucking choice. Yeah. Somebody's got a gun to your fucking head. You got a fucking choice.
Yeah.
Pull that fucking trigger
doubt.
or don't.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like I know it's uncomfortable, but it's like we don't want to take ownership in the fact that we got a choice to make. We always got a choice to make. I got a fucking choice to make. I got a choice whether I get up and want to be healthy and want to take care of myself, or I can just sit in fucking bed and drink all day. And maybe that's what I want to do, but it's a choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. And like,
that's it.
It's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Quit my job? Like, you could quit your job. It's like, no, I can't. How am I going to pay my bills? You'll find a way. Like, you may not like the circumstances that come with those choices, but you do have a choice, and you will find a way. You know what I mean? You just choose not to. Like, we all will find a way.
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily... Sometimes finding the way is realizing what in that way you didn't need or want to begin with. So when you do say, I got all these bills, well, how many of those bills are benefiting your life?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean don't pay them. Yeah, pay your fucking bills. But how much shit are you spending money on that isn't contributing to who you are and what you really want?
Yeah.
Like how much time do you spend on your fucking phone? How much time do you spend watching the TV? How much time do you spend with bullshit when you could utilize that time for things that are beneficial to you?
Yeah.
You know, that's the really only difference I would say between successful and unsuccessful people is utilizing the time that they have.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like we all got the same time. How much time are we wasting? I'm going to minimize as much time as I'm wasting on anything else than this thing that is my goal and my destination.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're going to make it. Until you can be singularly focused on that thing, of course you're never going to make it. Of course, like these things are going to be bad. You got to prioritize your time. And, you know, one thing that you really expressed really well was talking about how you might not be able to change the amount of time you have with a situation, but the quality of that time.
Yeah.
Talking about family and training, and you know, it's like if I'm not engaged while I'm there and intentional about what I'm doing, it's like when I'm at the gym, I'm worried about my family. When I'm with my family, I'm worried about the gym.
Yeah.
Now you're fucking both up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when you're at the gym, that should be the only universe you know.
Yeah.
When you're with your family, that should be the only universe we know, but we get stuck in that middle ground there.
Yeah.
And then we screw up both. You know, we're not putting the same what we should be into the fighting or whatever it is, and then we're not putting it into our family, so both suffer.
Yeah. And then we're getting nowhere. We get fucking nowhere. It's like I'm doing all this. I spend 8 hours at the gym. why am I not getting nowhere? It's like, because you're not there.
Yeah,
You're not fucking
and
there.
time does not always equate to success.
Yeah.
Quality time does. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, I remember this was back, I don't know, like 10 years ago. We were fighting in New York, and the commission they were just, you know how commissions are, athletic commissions. Like, we've been doing this for 40 years. I'm like, yeah, you've been doing it wrong for 40 years. What does 40 years have to do with anything? As if time equals success, you know?
Yeah.
Like you can do shit wrong for your entire life. Doesn't mean you're gonna be good at it.
Yeah.
Hopefully you are, but that doesn't necessarily equate to success. You motherfuckers. Like how do you think this shit's important? Like, you're not even talking about health right now. Like, isn't that why you're here? To keep us safe?
Tell them we're doing paperwork. Just tell them we're doing paperwork.
Oh, man. It's a wild trip, man. It's a wild trip.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Fucking shit, man. Yeah, that shit's hella funny. You just laugh at the shit.
What? Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, certificate. I guess it means you're good.
Took a 2-week course. Now I know everything.
I know everything that's important. But basically, you should just hold your pay, that check you paid next to your reward. This is what it costs.
Yep. Now I'm crew.
Crew.
Oh man.
Yeah. So other thing about the fight, what weight you fight now about this one?
160.
And is that what you did in Colorado as well, or was that different?
Nah, in Colorado, I was ready to make weight 4 days in a row at 156.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I was walking around like 162.
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
this probably feels comfortable compared to that.
Yeah, because I didn't. As soon as I got done with Colorado, I maybe took a week, and the only thing I slacked on was my diet. But the training was, I was already in rhythm. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, fuck it, just keep it going. Maybe I don't need to hit it as hard, you know, but I'll still make sure I do the routine, you know. And I just looked at it as, you know how when we're in fight camp and we're training hard as fuck and we just wish we could eat, you know what I mean? Like, man, if I only had some food in me, I would have so much more energy. It's like I just treated it like that. Like I still did the hard shit with just more food in me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just so I wouldn't fall off, because I knew I was going to have opportunity coming up.
Well, it's like kind of like how after weigh-in should be. You know, you should just eat more of what you were eating before.
Yeah.
Not go and eat a bunch of dog shit.
Yeah.
It's like you fine-tuned your body and your mind to this extreme extent, and then you're just gonna dump a bunch of bullshit on it.
Yeah.
Then the night before you're supposed to perform. Like,
yeah.
That fucking crazy or what?
It's like getting new strings for a guitar and then toning it, and then the night before you just go
like, fuck this shit, bang. And then you think you're gonna go out and perform at the opera on Saturday. You know, it's like it totally doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, fortunately, I broke that in myself earlier on. You know, in the amateur days, I'm like, this is dumb. Like, well, why would you do this? Like, it doesn't make no sense. You know, it's like the one day I need to be at my best. I feel like, think about when you're training, and it's like, all right, I got a hard training day tomorrow. I'm not gonna eat pizza.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I'm not gonna like gorge myself. I'm gonna like eat something so I feel good tomorrow.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do that on fight day?
the most important day that you're supposed to perform. I learned that. I learned that one time. Like, that was the last time that I learned, when we was at the casino and I fucking went to the all you can eat right after weigh-ins. Like, that was the very last time.
Hey, like I said, man, it's good to learn that lesson, because I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
What's bad is when you play around in that line because you don't know what happens when you go over it. Like, go over that
Yeah.
shit. You know, like, find out what happens. And then
Yeah.
you're like, I don't want to be anywhere near that ever again.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's funny, man. That's funny because like that also translates to everything as well. Like one thing that I've learned when I'm playing with like uh well, you know, that whenever we're trying to balance on the foam roller or just whenever we do those balance exercises,
Uh-huh.
um like the easiest way is to find where you're gonna lose your balance. You know what I mean? Like, okay, like this is as far as I go before I have to step off, you know.
Right.
Once we find that, then we're not afraid of losing our balance because we know when we need to step off, then it'll be easier to find our balance, you know, like
Yeah.
fucking find it, like anything, find the line, you know what I mean, by going over it.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, man. I mean, it's like in the beginning, if you don't know where that line is, you're almost trying to be too safe, which makes you fall more.
Yeah.
You know, you're bailing out too early.
Yeah.
Or you're overcorrecting too much.
Yeah.
But it's like once you know, it's like, all right, that line's at 30 degrees and this line's at negative 30 degrees. Now I got this whole spectrum to work in.
Yeah.
And it's like now I can have fun. Now I don't even need to look at what I'm doing because I can feel where that is.
Yeah. It's like, okay, it's almost like once we find our limits, as long as we stay within the limits, we're limitless.
Uh-huh.
Like we do anything within those, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
And we can keep pushing where that limit is.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, because on the back side of that is the counterbalance, and you can go farther than where your level is if you counterbalance it on the same aspect. You know, you change your body position and what you're holding over that line, and you're not 100% going over the line, just like 80% here, but you got 10% here, so that can go farther on this aspect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Then we just become masters of catching our balance.
Yeah. Well, an analogy I like to use is like you never have balance. There's no balance point. It's a constant. It's constant motion. Like you're always in flux. You're always jumping over that line, back and forth. You know, you can balance like rocks on top of each other, and obviously they're not moving. But a human being, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
You can never be a rigid statue balance because you're moving too much. Like there's too much going on. So we're always jumping over that line, and the goal is to continually be looking for that line. Like you're never gonna find it ever.
Yeah.
Just don't stop looking for that motherfucker. And as long as you do that, you're gonna be close enough.
Yeah.
But once you stop looking for that line, it's like
yeah. Like if you take your mind off it for 1 second.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what's that over there? Whoop.
Yeah, and that's the whole where, you know, fighting applies to life. It's like if you're not always working on those fundamentals and keeping your line, finding where that line is, everything else is going to fall apart.
Yeah.
You know, it's all going to be bad. You know, you got to hold your line, hold who you are as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like it's so easy to forget where that line is because we rationalize why we need to go away from that line, and we start getting farther away. And it doesn't mean those rationalizations aren't real, but they're not grounded in who we are.
Yeah.
What's important to us in that foundation, and those fundamentals of everything. You know, what's really important to you, like when it comes down to like life and death, and family, and that, like what's really important to you. Why aren't you putting more focus on that? Because you're distracted over here by this bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, that shit's going to be gone. And then you're like, oh, shit, I know what really mattered. You know, that's fighting. That's life. That's really everything. It's that foundation in that balance of trying to find that. Like, we can never be perfect, but we can try. We can, you know, it's like, you got two choices. I mean, they keep trying to be perfect, which will never happen, or you just say, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna end up wherever.
Just do my best. Yeah, it's all that pizzazz and everything. It's like like a fruit tree. You know what I mean? The fruit gets the real shine. The fruit is what at the end of the branch is what gets to shine. But the thing that's always and forever through the seasons is the fucking roots and the you know the actual tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the fruit, it rots, it falls off. Yeah, it's beautiful. It rots, it falls off, and then it fruits. You know what I mean? And it's like the as long as we have a good base and we nourish that, then our fruits will come and go, and you know what I mean? If we only aim for the fruit then and forget about the base, then really we won't have no fruit to bear, you know?
We got no fruit.
Yeah.
We got no lunch.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Yeah. And you know, it's funny because standing on that balance board, like one thing that I've noticed, and I was like, man, this is kind of like life, is when we first get on it, we're trying to find our balance, you know, to where we're not doing nothing. Then once we find our balance, we're like, we start fucking with it,
Yeah,
going off, seeing how far we can go off, and then like eventually we start losing our balance, and then we try to find it again. Once we get it, we start, you know, it's like we find balance in our life, and then once everything's good, we start like fucking around and testing our limits. But it's just a constant like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. When we're not on balance, we're trying to find a balance. When we are on balance, we're trying to see how far off the center we can go. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I feel like that's just kind of like the same rhythm.
yeah, for sure. And I think you know, as you said, that's a good analogy for life. You're always like you can scoot away from it a little bit, and you can even learn to play with that, like expending yourself more than you should. Like you can find out how to even work that and like make it work really well, you know. But even that's grounded in just solid foundation.
Yeah.
You know, it's like with balance, you're always trying to find it. There's no such thing as balance. Like you're finding it. You're playing with it, and the more that you do it, that consistency, eventually you can just jump on that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I know even if I go this far, I know how to balance it this way.
Yeah.
You know, like I know every position possible. I'm jumping on there. I don't need to like stay. I mean, like when we first get on it, we're trying to like find this like locked out balanced place.
Yeah.
And then eventually it's just like, it's this flow between the two. And actually, the more you move, the more balanced you can be. You're not rigid when it comes down to it. It's that constant motion and fluidity through every movement.
Yeah.
Being able to adapt to the changes in the placement of your feet and where your weight is distributed. And if you get distracted, like you look over here, that changes everything, you know. But you know how to like fix that. The more that you do it in the consistency.
Yeah. And it's a rhythm. You know what I mean? That's like one thing that's helped me with martial arts and like outside of the gym as well, as everything has a rhythm. And once I try my best to find the rhythm of whatever it is, whether it's balance, whether it's fighting, whether it's traffic, you know what I mean? Like the more we try to force it, like I'm sure we've all been in the position to where we're in traffic and this lane next to us is moving and we're in the stuck lane. So then we move to that lane, and then the lane we were just in moves, and then we're forcing it instead of riding it and being patient enough to let the rhythm just kind of like go, you know what I mean? Not be too hasty, not do more than the rhythm allows. Again, like, you know, as long as we stay within the limitations, we'll be limitless type shit. Whenever I'm trying to learn something, it's okay, what's the rhythm of this shit? You know what I mean? Because there's a rhythm to everything. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, and I think that aspect you're talking about, like even with the traffic thing, there's elements of it, like there's nothing you can do about it. Like you can't, like you figure out what you can and cannot change and what you can and cannot affect. some aspects of that, there's nothing you can do about it. Like if all of a sudden they stop, like, all right, we're stopped. But
Yeah.
I can change how I think about it.
Yeah,
I can change
yeah.
what this moment is to me. Like some
Yeah.
people's like, fuck, I gotta get over here, but I gotta like, well, you fucking can't. So deal with it. You know, like deal with that
Yeah.
shit. Like, what can I do right now? Well, maybe I can work on my patience, or
Yeah.
maybe I can work on thinking about something else in this moment when I don't have to think about driving. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like you can use it for a good thing. You know, so I got that tattoo on my hands that says "Live without dead time," and that's basically what that means. Is
Yeah.
even if you're in a body cast, you can still work on your brain. You can still work on your mind. You can still work on your mentality. You can still work on your perception of what's going on. You
Yeah.
know? Even if you can't change 99% of what's happening, you still got a fucking choice.
Yeah.
And either you're going to use this time for life or you're going to use this time for death.
Yeah. It's funny because some people you look in traffic, and you just see them like just losing their shit.
Oh, motherfucker! Motherfucker, I'll kill everyone. Yeah, I understand that, but yeah, no, what are you gonna fucking do?
Yeah. Yeah, and like even in moments where we don't have a choice, like say we're imprisoned and we're put in a cell, like you don't have choices in there. Well, you have a choice on how we can respond to the
Right.
situation,
That's that.
you know.
We always have that choice above all else is we always have a choice in our response.
Yeah.
And as soon as we as soon as we take ownership of that, the less we become like victims of everything that's happening. You
Yeah.
know, whether that's real or not, you know, it's like certain we are all victims of something, but a lot
Hmm.
of things we're victims of just our mentality to it. You know,
Yeah.
like even we can't change the thing that victimized us, but you can change what you do with it. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I lived in that realm for half my life. You know, I was a victim of circumstances. Like this
Hmm.
shit happened, it's bullshit, and it sucks, and it's all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
And what are you gonna fucking do about it?
Yeah.
Nothing. You're either gonna make it worse or you're gonna make it better. You're either gonna use this thing that happened that's awful and say, I'm not gonna let it fucking break me. I'm not gonna let it kill me. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
let it make me worse just
Hmm.
because I feel justified in living this way now. It's like I had this shitty thing happen to me, so I'm gonna be fucking shitty. I'm gonna be shitty to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be shitty to me, and all that does is creates more shittiness to
Yeah.
everybody. Like the exact thing that you're so upset about, you're creating by
Yeah.
doing it to other people. You're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you fucking did that. Nobody else did that. You did that.
Yeah.
And like
And that's why I
once
was following you everywhere because you just bring it.
bring that shit everywhere. Like I can't get away from it.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, everywhere I move, this same shit happens to me. Like, yeah, because you're still there.
Yeah, for real.
You gotta move. You gotta move out of yourself. You
Yeah.
know, so that was a big awakening for me when I did finally start training and turning my life around. It was like all these reasons you give yourself of why you're not doing this, even if they're real, it's not an excuse not to do it. Like,
Yeah.
so what if it's scary? So what if you're too old? So what if you can never make it? What does that
Yeah.
even fucking mean?
Yeah.
Make it where?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you might not be able to make it to the best fighter of all fucking time, but
Yeah.
you know that's like 5 people out of billions. So you know
Yeah.
you got to talk about a little. There's a little bit of reality when it comes down to it, but you're never gonna know how good you can be unless you stop fucking relying on those reasons not to do this
Yeah.
shit. And
Yeah.
that shit just like smacked me in the fucking face. Like, all right, I got it. You know, it's like stop being a fucking bitch about it. You know,
Yeah.
like it really is. it really is that simple. I mean, it's complicated because we deal with real events and emotions and stuff. It's like either you're gonna be a bitch about it or you're fucking not. And
Yeah.
you know, someone that takes ownership and the shit that they do, the shit that happens to them, like that's an unstoppable person. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do to me, or even I can do to myself that's gonna stop me from going in this direction.
Yeah.
Like all you're really doing is giving me fuel. Like beat me down, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back stronger. I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
You're never gonna want to beat me down again.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that level of ownership, like you can't break a person that has that mentality.
Yeah.
Like what are you gonna do? Hit them? Stop them?
Yeah.
You're just helping them. You're just giving them more fuel.
Yeah.
Like the more you hit the more I love that shit. Like the more you hit me, I'll fucking love that shit. Like hit me some more. Like bring me that fucking pain.
Yeah.
Like instead of running, it's like we run away from pain so much, but once you learn to embrace that and make it a strength, it's like I don't enjoy pain, not even a little bit. People think that I do because I smile when I get hit and I'm bleeding, but I don't enjoy it. What I look at it as is an opportunity. Like this is fuel for me. Like I'm cutting, I'm bleeding. I'm like I'm gonna use that motherfucker, and you're gonna hurt now.
Yeah.
So it's like it's almost an encouragement. You know, like difficulty. Once you change that outlook, difficulty becomes like an encouragement. You know, it's like failure. Failure means, all right, I know how not to do it that fucking way.
Yeah.
That's one thing I can check off the box. Don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Ever again. I'm like, yeah, all right, that narrows it down a little bit. All right. What do we got now?
That's hella funny because I tell a lot of people at the gym, you know what I mean? Like when we talk about head movement and stuff, I remind everyone that, you know, my name, like I was in the very beginning, that's where the name Silky Smooth. Go ahead, son. Go ahead. That's where the name Silky Smooth came from. But in the past, before I became Silky Smooth, Kev dubbed me Tez. And it's not, and I don't advise the process that I went through to have great head movement. I just kind of like Edison, right? When he said, I didn't find the one way to make a light bulb. I found hundreds of ways how not to. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's not that I know where to put my head. It's just I know where not to now. From not there. All right, not there. All right, not there. I don't advise that shit. It's a painful process. But yeah, it's the same thing. All right, I'm gonna check that shit off.
It's funny. Yeah, it's like unfortunately the most painful process is the one that educates us the quickest.
Yeah,
because there's no middle ground there. Like I don't want that shit ever to fucking happen to me ever again. Like we were talking about earlier, like about quitting, and it's like once you do it, never again. And then if you do it again, you know you made that fucking choice.
Yeah,
like, you knew what you were doing. You made that fucking choice. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes you do need to have that extreme element to it. I mean, there's a famous story about when Hulk Hogan first started wrestling. His wrestling coach snapped his shin in half. And, but it's like, this is going to happen to you eventually. Like, shit's gonna go bad. Like, do you really want to do this? You show up tomorrow and be like, all right, I'll train you.
Yeah.
You know, and that obviously that's an extreme example of it, but I would say that mentality and that psychology is what we're missing.
Yeah.
You know, like, do you want to do this even when everything is like breaking you in fucking half? Like, all right, then you should do this. If not, do something else because it's going to happen at some point. The worst thing that can ever happen is you do this for so long only to get to that point down the road and realize you don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Like, you want find that shit out right fucking now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your first day, it's your first day. All right, snap your fucking shit, beat the fuck out of you. Like, yeah, you want to do this? All right, let's fucking go. You know, and I would say that's what's so vital about the way I came up and losing my first fight and just like constantly being thrown to the wolves. Is like, do you want to fucking do this anyway? No matter what it feels like, no matter what it looks like, do you want to do this physically, mentally, emotionally? I'm like, I will never fucking not do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not only that, I know what that is, and I will never let myself feel that way. So I would say it's a gift to learn that day one instead of to learn that day 365 when the answer is something different. You know, like that's where that tough love comes into play. You know, like yeah, it sucks. Like, I don't want to like just like fuck somebody up, but at the same time, I'm thinking, do you really want to do this? And if you don't, do something else. Just do something else. It's okay. You don't have to do this.
Yeah. I still
something.
Like you as a person. You don't have to do it.
This has nothing to do with how I look at you as an individual. Do you want to do what I do? Do you want to do it why I do it?
Yeah.
You better fucking like come correct, because I ain't playing around with this shit.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that if we would do that more often, we would really go after things we really wanted to go after.
Yeah.
You know, instead of just verbalizing or vocalizing, or like, and that's why you got all these people bitching online and saying all this shit. I'm like, that costs you nothing. It costs you nothing to have a fucking opinion. It costs you nothing to say, I'm going to do this. I want to do this. I should do this if I did this. But to actually take action and put yourself into something wholeheartedly, regardless of where that ends up, that's taking accountability and owning something that you want to do. Like, because if you don't come with that, like everything else is just, it's empty. Like what you say, even what you do sometimes, it's just like, it's just fake. It's bullshit. Like, you can spot that. Especially the longer you are in line with that. Like, you see that shit. Like, I could have one conversation with you, and I know whether you're full shit or whether you're fucking not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
man.
Like, I might not know any. You might not know any details about what they do and all that other stuff, but you know whether someone's coming correct or whether they're not. You know, whether someone's going to stab you in the back or whether not, whether that person's going to break as soon as they get pressured. Or not. You know, and that, I would say the sooner you figure that out, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah.
You know, like what's going to break me? What's going to push me too far?
Yeah, that's why I'm grateful. I lost my first fight also. Because, man, like after I lost my first fight, my first coach, it's hella funny, man. Like, I was just like thrown under the bus after that. You know what I mean? First fight, 20 seconds, lost at Crew Sam's. And then I remember we was at an event shortly after. And one of my homeboys fought. There was probably like 8 of us on the team. 8, 9 of us on the team at the time. And after the event, we all took a picture. And this was at a separate event, but still after I lost my fight. We took a picture, and then my coach was like, okay, now only the fighters. Eddie, get off the picture. I was like, oh, okay. All right, I see how it is. You know what I mean? But I'm grateful for all that, because it got me to the mentality of like, all right, I'm going to show y'all what it is. I'm going to get better. I'm going to train. I'm going to do, I don't need nobody's help. You know what I mean? Not to say that I never had anyone's help or anything like that, because I've had plenty of help, but I never seeked, you know what I mean? As far as like pleaded for it or anything like that. If I could do it myself, I'll find a way to do it, you know? And I'm just grateful that I've experienced things like that time after time again. You know what I mean? And it's like you said, a lot of people can talk about it, but like there's one thing that we say at my gym that shuts all the talking down. It's prove it. Prove it. Whenever anyone's talking, prove it. You know what I mean? Prove it. Show me. Oh, you can't show me? All right, fuck out of here. You know? Like, we just be fucking with each other like that. But Yeah, man. Also, as far as if you want it or not, I remember when I first started, I'm still getting the hang of it, but how to be around, how to be for the team and the next generation and whatnot. There's a couple times I flashed on some of the guys at the gym. You know what I mean? Not in a disrespectful manner, but it was about the craft. And when I got home, I thought to myself like, "Fuck, I was too hard on. I think I was too hard on this person or this and that. I don't want to break their spirit, but at the same time, it's like, but if their spirit is broken just from words, you know what I mean? Then this isn't for them. Because man, I remember in the beginning, or not even in the beginning, like halfway through, because I still have the letter. You told me, Eddie, I hate your fucking style. At the time, you're like, I hate it, but don't change it. Like, it's not my forte, but don't change what you do. You know what I mean? And it was just like, all right, for sure, for sure. Like, I'm gonna take it. Didn't break me. I'm gonna take it and keep running with it. You know what I mean? If words will break your, then you've got to. If words break your ambition, then life's gonna be a lot more tougher than that because words aren't shit. You know what I mean? So it's like I ain't tripping. Like I'm not gonna be disrespectful, but I'll keep it real. You know what I mean? You need to keep your fucking hands up, man. Like you've been on that bag the entire time, and I didn't see you check one kick, imaginary kick, or I didn't see you. You know what I mean? It's like, or you're dozing off. You're having a conversation while you're on. I've been on the bag for 10 minutes. Yeah, but you're having a conversation at the same time, or you're not engaged in the bag. You know what I mean? Like I can tell. I've done this long enough to where I can tell you don't have intent in the bag, or you don't have intent in your shadow boxing. You're not visualizing. You're just throwing shit out. You know what I mean? Not saying that people do that, but like we can spot it. You know what I mean? And I'll correct it if I need to, and I'm not afraid to break anyone's spirit because if I can break your spirit, then this isn't for you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I would say if you can have your spirit broken with words, you got no chance in physicality.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like if I can break your spirit just by saying words to you that you don't like, what the fuck you think you're gonna do when it comes to getting hit and shit ain't going. You know what I mean? And that's where that that tough love is like finding that line. I think there's elements of you want to encourage people coming up to progress and to get better. But at the same time, you do need to show them like there's levels to this shit.
Yeah.
And like you can start to get really comfortable and cocky with somebody that's experienced because they're letting you do shit.
Yeah.
And they're not like trying to fuck you up. And then all of a sudden it's like it's like because you can go hard without them thinking you're going very hard because like their level's different. If I go hard, it's gonna be really fucking different here. It's gonna be a different scenario. So I think you can start to gain a little bit of false ego. I got this. I'm hanging. I'm like we're working together. Like right now, we're not fighting. This isn't skill versus skill here. This is I'm trying to help you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but don't get it twisted. If this was real, I'd fuck you up.
Oh man. Yeah. There was I forgot who it was, but one of the Saturdays of sparring, it wasn't anyone from our gym. It was someone from another gym that came and I'm engaged in what I'm trying to work on. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like you said, we're sparring, like we're just playing or whatnot. And as soon as the bell finishes, like rings to end the round, he says, feedback? And I was like, bro, I wasn't even paying attention, man. Like, and he goes, well, I think I've gotten better because you didn't kick my ass as much as you did last time. I was like, bro, don't base your success off of sparring with me right now. You know what I mean? Like we're having a good time, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. I feel like that can get miscued sometimes. You know, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna spar with Kevin Ross. Oh yeah, I landed a teep on him. He couldn't stop that. You know what I mean? Not realizing that we're just having a good time.
Yeah, like we're just playing around, man. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough to find where that level is of balance because you want to encourage people to progress, but at the same time, I look back to the way I came up, and it was just like I got the fuck beat out of me, like the fuck beat out of me every fucking day by these monsters, and like they didn't like it wasn't even like we're playing around. It was like I'm beating your fucking ass, and like either you're gonna survive or you're not, and I don't really care because you're not even like I'm not even thinking about you as a human being. Like I'm gonna fuck you up, and like that's the way I came up, But at the same time, I see all the benefit to that, but it's almost like you don't want to do that back. Like you don't want to just beat the fuck out of people and be like, all right, well, 1% of you is gonna fucking make it, and that's the person I want to work with. Like, there's a degree to that. You don't want to. It's almost like you almost do want to show people right away whether they want to do this or not. But I don't know. Where do you like draw that line? Like, I think it would be different if like it's like if I'm working with a guy. If I'm working with a guy that's got a fight coming up, like I'm gonna make sure I'm testing him and checking him. Whereas if we're just all training together and it's just like that generalized way, but that's also what comes into play. It's like, are you getting ready for a fight or am I getting ready for a fight? Like if you're getting ready for a fight, like I'm gonna make sure you're sharp and I'm gonna push every button that you need to have pushed. But if I'm getting ready for a fight, like I ain't thinking about you as a person at all. Like I'm like yeah, to a degree, but like my focus is on me, not how is this helping me.
Yeah. And I'm still like to this day, even if we're just having a good time, I'm still trying to figure this shit out myself. I don't have feedback for everyone. I mean, how to the distance of my jab and how to land it on balance because to this day I still feel awkward in my own skin. You know what I mean? Like, man, that felt so ugly. It may not look like it from time to time when I watch the video, like, oh, it wasn't as bad as it felt. But I remember in the moment, it's like, man, I just felt like I was so off balance or I was just so, you know what I mean? Whatnot. Like, I'm still trying to figure it out, man. Like my style, I'm still trying to figure out my style. I can't define what my style is. I'm still trying to figure out the basics and get it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes it tricky. It makes it difficult, especially in your position where you're a gym owner and a fighter and a trainer. It's like where to draw that line, where to put more attention than other aspects of it. It's like you're trying to equally progress everything. It's like, well, that's impossible. So
the only thing I've been able to come up with as far as like, okay, being a good fighter, being a good trainer and whatnot and all that shit is just probably do the best I can instead of telling like this is what you need to do, this is what you need, you know what I mean? Just kind of like how we were back in the day. Like me and you, we would just come in, fucking just get to work, you know what I mean? Like yeah, we would joke here and there, be social a little bit, but it wasn't necessarily about bullshitting. You know, everyone knew that when we came in to work. You know, uh,
Yeah.
just by example, just leading by example. It's like, man, you want to be like me? Get to work. You know what I mean? I'm just getting to work,
Yeah.
trying to figure this shit out, trying to fine tune my body, my instrument. It's like you should be doing the same. I don't have all the answers. I never will have all the answers. I have the answer for right now, but since the game is constantly evolving, I won't have the same answer tomorrow or the next day, or you know, I'm just trying to fucking figure this shit out. So the best way I can
Yeah.
juggle all that is just try to be an example. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough place to be in too, though.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to. It's easy when you're just selfish.
Yeah.
Like there's, like I said before, when you're just going full, when you're flooring it, you don't got to think about that shit like at all. It's like
Yeah.
I'm singularly focused, and I'm gonna get there, and I'm gonna get there quickly because this is the only thing I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
But then eventually, as you progress, as your experience goes, as you become a coach, a gym owner, you have to take that shit into account. Like it's
Yeah.
impossible not to, and like
Mm.
you shouldn't ignore it. You can't pretend. You know, it's like you can't pretend that all of a sudden you're viewed as one of the best in the world. Like you can pretend for a really long time and not think about it, but at some point, like someone's gonna be like, show you the book, and be like, yeah, that's you right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like that for myself, that was a very daunting thing. Cause I'm like, I don't want to be that fucking person. I'm not doing this for fucking you. I'm trying my best, like to be my best.
Yeah.
You know, like if that's a aspect that comes with it or a contribution to it. But that I don't want to think about that shit. But eventually, it
Yeah.
became there's no way not to think about it. Like there's no way.
Yeah.
Like you can only pretend for so long. Eventually, it's like you are this fucking person. You are this person to these people. You are this person to your
Mm-hmm.
coach. You are this person to everyone you interact with, and pretending like that's not the case. You know, you can only do that for so long. But what are you gonna
Yeah.
do with it once that reality sets in? Like, how do I use this into
Yeah.
in a beneficial way, in you know, and not a distracting way or
Yeah.
detrimental way? Like, how can I use this for benefit?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good question, man. I would try. And again, keyword is try. You know what I mean? I would try to approach it the same way I would approach people's negative opinions about me. It don't fucking matter. You know what I mean? However you look at me is one, the way people view me, or view anything is first and foremost projectile. You know what I mean? They're just projecting on their inner feelings or whatnot. Two, sometimes people feel entitled for no reason. You know what I mean? And I'm just gonna do what got me to the show. I don't like just because I'm put on this pedestal. I don't need to act a certain way or be a certain way. I'm gonna do my best to do my best. You know what I mean? And not be just like going about this whole journey. I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid if you see that I'm human and I make mistakes as well. It's like I'm in this position trying to manage it the best that I can. And fortunately, I'm not doing it alone. You know what I mean? I'm not the only owner. I got John, I got Tim, I got Darren, I got Bernadette, and we all like work as a team, and you know what I mean, do our best to keep each other afloat and in check. You know, so it's like I feel like that's one of my cheat codes in life is I'm not doing it by myself. And two, I don't all this, everything is subject to change. So I just don't want to lose myself over anything. I don't want to lose
Yeah.
myself. If I lose myself trying to tend to this, trying to tend to that, and spread my attention thin, which we both have seen in the past, you know what I mean, from just life experiences. You know, people trying to spread themselves too thin, and then not being able to help nobody if we can't pour from an empty cup. So I just got to make sure that I always have stuff in my cup. And the way I fill my cup is spending time with my kids, spending time with my wife, making sure I can train. If I don't have that, then I can't help nobody. And anyone who feels like I'm being selfish for doing those things, like, one, it's not your job to understand. Two, it's like, well, you know, cool. Everyone's free to think what they want, but I can't help. Like, you want my help if my cup is empty. You know what I mean? Even if I'm just sitting there not doing nothing, I'm doing something. You know, I'm fucking recharging and refueling and whatever. I really, at this point, man, I don't. It may not be good for business. Give a damn about what anyone thinks, even though I may get to a point in my career to where I get put on this pedestal. I don't give a damn what anyone thinks I'm supposed to act like or what I'm supposed to be like. One, I'm human. Two, I'm just trying to figure it out just like everyone else. And the only thing that's different between me and maybe the masses is the fact that I'm willing to take these chances and go down this uncertain road. You know what I mean? No 401k, no this and that. Like, we're all figuring it out on the way anyways. And the thing is, I feel like when people say that, oh, I can't do this because of that, I wasn't able to do this because of that, it's like, how can you be so cocky? How can you be so cocky and so certain that that's your path? That you're so certain that that's your path, but at the same time, you're afraid to take a chance. Like, how are you so cocky and telling someone that's never going to work, or like you know what's going to happen in the future? You know what I mean? But at the same time, you're not cocky enough to take a chance on yourself. So anything that anyone has to say at this point in my life, I feel like it's just projectile. And whether it helps the business or not, I know whether we have a big group or a small group, it's going to be a genuine group. You know what I mean? And they're going to get the real me. I'm not going to exhaust myself by trying to put on a facade or what I think I need to be or this and that. I'm just going to, just like how we talked about being where you are, you know, with each encounter I have, I'm going to do my best to make sure it's genuine, you know. And if I don't have the energy to interact, then I'm not going to fake it. You know what I mean? Because even that can be felt. Not giving no time is better than giving time. Not giving no time with real energy is better than giving time with fake energy. You know what I mean? Right. Well, and again, I don't know if I'm right, but we'll find out. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's what's right for you.
Yeah. Yeah, because at the end of the day, man, that's what it is. Like,
what's right for you?
We all we got.
Yeah. That's right. You are your metric for everything. How you measure everything is you and you know.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we'll wrap it up with that, man. It's been like 2 hours, so oh shit.
Yep, time to go.
That's a wrap. That's how you know it's time to go, when this shit falls. Yeah. Well, it's good talking to you, man, and all the best to you next week. And I hope everyone tunes in. Go check out Triumphant, whatever number they're on. Yeah. And I'm sure there's a stream or whatever you can check out.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.